So what do we need to know about triangles? We need to know about triangles so you don't meet them. Like, there's a lot of things with triangles, right? We're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. When you go to algebra 1, you know, you're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about sine, cosine, how to find the measure of an angle, and all of that stuff. Geometry is actually really practical. So I think it's probably one of the things that you may want to, like, look into a lot. Because this is, I like geometry. Some of it, not all of it. I don't really like proofs. Yeah? You didn't flinch that much. All right, so we're going to talk about triangle, right? Now, a triangle is pretty much formed by doing what? By colliding 3 line segments, right? Here, how many segments do I have here? 3 segments. I have this segment, I have this segment, and I have this segment. So if you put them together, you got what you call a triangle. Why? What does this, the word TRI stand for? Tri is what? 3, right? Triangle. That means, what does that mean? 3 what? 3 angles. So we have 3 angles here. We have an X, we have Y, and we have Z, and all these are angles, right? Now, the beautiful things about triangle is this. The sum of the 3 angles in the triangle is equal to what? 180 degrees. Any triangle that you're going to meet, any given triangle, if you add all 3 angles in the triangles, you're always going to get what? 180, no matter what, right? So no matter what the triangle looks like, the sum of the 3 triangles, the 3 angles are always going to be 180.
Is it just 180 if it's an isosceles triangle?
It doesn't matter. Isosceles, equilateral, right triangle, the sum of the 3 angles in the triangles is always going to be what? 180.
So square would be 360?
Excuse me?
Would it be 360 with a square? No.
Square? No, not necessarily. If a square would be 360, yes. Why? Because it's 90, 90, 90, 90. Right? A square is always going to be 360. A rectangle is also going to be what? 360. Because each form what? A 90-degree angle, because you have 2 parallel lines, 2 parallel lines. So that's, yeah, that is true actually. So the sum of the 3 angles in the triangle is always going to be 180, right? Now, why do we use this? Example. If I give you this triangle here, right? I have the measure of this angle. I have the measure of this angle. And I want to find this angle. What do? How do I find x? How can I use that right there to find x?
Subtract the sum of the 2
from 180, right? Because we know that by definition, x, right, plus 89, right, plus 54 is going to be equal to what? 180, right? So therefore, to find x, we just need to take away these 2 angles from it, right? So x is going to be equals to what? 180 minus 89 minus 54. And that should give you the measure of the 3rd angle x that we are looking for, right? Now I'll let you do that. You know, I can do your subtraction. What did you get?
27.
27, so x is 27 degrees, right? And if you add all 3 together, if you do 27 plus 54 plus 89, you should get 37. Okay. I'm trusting you guys. I'm trusting your algebra, right? We know how to do this, right? So if you do 37 plus 54 plus 89, you should get what? 180. If you don't get that, if you get something less or more than 180, you know that you did something wrong. Okay? So this is how you find the measure of the 3rd angle if you're given 2 angles. Now, let's try this problem here. I want to see if you guys can figure it out, right? Now, this is the word problem. Now, it's telling us that the measures of the angles of the triangle ABC are in the ratio 1:3:8. What are the measures of the angles? We have a triangle ABC, and all we know is that there's a ratio in between them, right? We have a ratio 1:3:8. What are the measures of the angle? How do you think you're going to solve this? Yeah.
Would you put like 1 on A, 3 on B, and 8 on C?
Okay, you could do that to start with, right? You could say this is the ratio 1, 3, and 8. Then what does that mean, though? That means nothing really right now. Right? All we know is that's the ratio, right? So how do we use this ratio here?
So you're gonna have to like multiply them in certain ways to have like 1 be 1, and it's gonna be 1 power. No, it would be 1 3 times.
Okay, good. You're getting there. All right. So now, when we have something that we don't know, what letter do we use usually? If you don't know something, X, right? So let's say measure of A was X. What do you think measure of B is going to be?
Y.
Now, what's the ratio? If one of them is 1, the ratio is what? 3 what? 3x. And this is going to be 8x. Now, can we find now the measures of these angles? Yes, because we know that the measures of this plus this is equal to what?
180.
180. So it's going to be 1x, right? Plus 3x plus 8x is 180. Now we can solve for x, and once we find x, we can find the measures of any angle, right? So it's going to be 12x, right? If you add all these together, you get 12x is 180. And then to find x, you divide it by what? 12. So what's 180 over 12? I can't divide.
I lost my calculator.
Oh, this is bad. We can't do simple division without a calculator. I
What's the
included.
problem? What's the
180 over 12 is equal to what? Somebody help.
9? Is it 9 or something?
I can't believe it. I'm
Wait.
gonna do it myself.
No, it's
Yes, do
it's
yourself
not-
to
it's-
solve
it's-
it for
it's
able.
greater than 10,
You
because
don't
times
want-
10 is 120.
Okay.
Wait, is it like 13, 14, or
180 divided by 12?
180 divided by 12.
Okay, so
We are
15.
sitting here thinking about what.
13.
No, it's not 13.
15.
15.
14.
What do you get?
15.
She has a calculator.
15. All right, 15.
Yeah, no calculator. I just my brain.
All right, so x is 15.
13 or 15.
So x is.
Wait.
I was still right. That's an estimate. One of
All
them
right.
was still right.
Right. So x is 15, right? So that means b is gonna be what? 45, because we do 3 times 15, right? So that's 45. And then this is gonna be 8 times 15, which is 120, right?
Yeah,
So
totally.
this is 120. All right? And if you add them all together, you're gonna get what? 180. Right? So this is how you do these problems. You're given a ratio, you can use that ratio to find all angles, because the ratio means that there's a relationship between the three. One of them is 1, if one of them is x, the other one is 3x, and the other one is 8x, you can solve it, right? Now we're going to talk about classifying triangles, right? Classifying triangles, okay? So before we do that though, we're going to talk about certain types of angles here. Let me show you. So we have 4 different types, right? We have 4 different types. All right, so this is going to be called, Lee just mentioned it, what is it? Acute angle, right? Acute angle. Why do we call it an acute angle?
Because it's less than 90 degrees.
It's less than 90 degrees. It's less than 90 degrees, right? Less than 90 degrees. The measure of the angle is less than 90 degrees. Now this is what? I mean,
Right
you
angle.
know, right angle.
That is 90 degrees.
Because it's exactly what? 90 degrees, right? Right angle. And then this is the
Obtuse triangle.
obtuse triangle. Obtuse triangle because of what?
It's big.
It's more than what?
90 degrees. It's bigger than 90 degrees.
More than 90 degrees. More than 90, right? And then this is basically the
A line.
a straight angle, right? Or a flat. Because the whole thing is what?
360.
No?
180.
180, right? So this is a flat or straight angle. Straight angle. Straight angle because the measure is 180 degrees. All right? So this is pretty much. And then if you, oh no, we have, like, if you look in your book, we don't have to, like, I don't have to put it on some, put this on the board. Okay? If you look at triangles and if you find that all the measures of the angles in the triangles are less than like 90, it's going to be an acute triangle, right? And if you have an angle in a triangle where one of the angles is more than 90, it's going to be the obtuse, and then the last one is going to be a right angle, right? Right triangle, because we know that. You have the hypotenuse, we have 2 legs, they form a 90 degree, so that's a right angle, okay? And you also have some other ones. You have a scalene triangle, because no congruent sides, and you have the isosceles triangle, because 2 sides are what? Isosceles triangle. And then
And
and then the last one is the equilateral triangle, which is all three sides are the same. Okay? So this is basically this section. This is pretty simple stuff. So we should just munch on it. And I give you homework now. We can start working on it right now. All right? A very, very easy section. Not that hard. Everybody was doing